Looks like it's unlisted. Your front end isn't all the way down.
All right, Mr. Moore.
What's up, everyone? Good morning. Mike Bond here. We are a few minutes away from the start of UFC 268 ceremonial weigh-ins, or official weigh-ins, rather. Bear with me. I'm here with John Morgan. He is going to be running the camera this morning, so you get to chat with me. I'll do the best I can to get in there in between tweeting the results and updating the site and doing social media and all that stuff. Ryan Grant, I know John Morgan had a nice steak the other night. That was one of his favorite restaurants. You'll have to ask him more about that. I missed out on the opportunity, and now I'm regretting it. John is far from traumatized from Colby Covington, I can tell you that. And let's just set the record straight so we don't have to talk about this for the next 2 hours. That was completely out of line from Colby, especially because John never even said anything that he claimed he did. Go back and watch the Media Day video. John didn't mention anything to Colby about being undeserving or anything of the sort. So I don't know if Colby thought it was someone else who asked that question or was just, planning to bring that up regardless because he knew John would have the first question. But come on, son. That was ridiculous. And Colby is just making stuff up. Fake news as far as him claiming it was that question.
I don't like flavored water, but these things are really good. Yeah. Literally, just yeah. Doesn't have any sugar or anything. Yeah.
I do not see pink suit guy in the room, for those that are asking and wondering. I suspect he doesn't show up to this part of Fight Week because there's no camera on him, so...
That's the best. Like people holding up iPads, they're like, ah!
It's not Disneyland.
Like we're all sending you a high-res pic. Just give me your email address and move out the way.
Kane, this is supposed to start in 2 minutes. Usually we are on time. Interesting note, as you guys will see up there, no beam scale today. It's a digital scale, which we do not see very often at all. New York, really one of the few states that uses a digital scale, so I assume this might move pretty quick once the fighters are up there because there's just stepping on there and in and out. So I prefer the beam scale because it's obviously a little more accurate in my opinion. The digital scales can have issues, but New York likes to use them, so we shall see. I agree, Starman TV. Digital scale is sus.
Good to see you, brother. Hey, I mean, you can eliminate the Yankees and the Rays in a postseason, not all of them.
Okay, as you can see, the folks are gathering in the room. There's a queue of fighters around the curtain there. We should be going rolling fast and furious once this gets started. So bear with me if I'm not able to check in with you guys as often as possible. But once we get back through the initial flurry, I'll try to check in and we'll chat it up a bit. Hopefully no issues. This is a dope card. We need it to go off without a hitch.
All right. All right, thank you all for being here for the official weigh-in for UFC 268, Usman versus Covington 2. And we will begin the proceedings with the man around whom this fight card was built, the consensus best pound-for-pound fighter in the sport, the undisputed UFC welterweight champion, the Nigerian Nightmare Kamaru Usman.
Even.
169 pounds, the official weight for the champion, Kamaru Usman. All right, next athlete to the scale, one of the more beloved fighters in UFC history, the future Hall of Famer, 8th ranked bantamweight contender and former lightweight champion, Frankie Edgar. $135.6, the official weight for Frankie Edgar. All right, next fighter to the scale is the undisputed UFC strawweight champion, Thug Rose Namajunas.
Even.
115 pounds, the official weight for the champ, Thug Rose Namajunas. All right, next fighter to the scale. Fan base excited to see this man back on the proven ground, the former UFC interim lightweight champion, Justin Gaethje. Official weight 155.6 for Justin Gaethje. All right, next fighter to the scale, charged with kicking off the prelims live on ESPN News, the number 11 ranked middleweight in the world, Edmen Shahbazyan. $185.4, the official weight for Edmen Shahbazyan. All right, next fighter to the scale, competing live on pay-per-view tomorrow night in the UFC's featherweight division. He is New York's own Billy Quarantillo. Official weight 145.4 for Billy Q. Thank you, buddy. See you soon. All right, we will stay in the featherweight division as we welcome our next athlete competing in a prelim live on UFC Fight Pass, Melsik Bagdasaryan. .4. 145.4, the official weight for Melsik Bagdasaryan. All right, next fighter to the scale. They don't come much more popular around these parts than this guy, back for the first time in a long time. Raging Al Iaquinta. .155.8, the official weight for Al Iaquinta. All right, moving on now to the UFC's light heavyweight division as we welcome John Allen. £205, the official weight for John Allen. All right, next athlete to the scale. 14th ranked in the UFC's featherweight division and competing live on pay-per-view tomorrow. You know this man, Monroe, New York's Hurricane, Shane Burgos. .145.6, the official weight for Shane Burgos. All right, next fighter to the scale. He is one half of the featured prelim on ESPN News in the UFC's middleweight division and set to make his UFC debut here tomorrow, Alex Pereira. .185.8, the official weight for Alex Pereira. All right, next fighter to the scale, also making his UFC debut here tomorrow in the UFC's middleweight division, Chris Curtis. The official weight, 186 pounds for Chris Curtis. All right, next fighter to the scale in the UFC's heavyweight division, Chris Barnett. $263.8, the official weight for Chris Barnett. All right, next fighter to the scale, UFC lightweight division staple, Bobby King Green. $155.2, the official weight for the King, Bobby Green. All right, next fighter to the scale, competing in the UFC's welterweight division, live on UFC Fight Pass, Jordan Williams. Official weight for Jordan Williams, 170.6. All right, next up, we welcome an oncoming force in the UFC's middleweight division, Phil Hawes. $185.4, the official weight for Phil Megatron Hawes. All right, next fighter to the scale is the former UFC strawweight champion and now the #1 ranked contender, Magnum Zhang Weili.
Nobody has 115.2.
Sorry.
Never try it without the mask on. It was real close.
You guys will, yeah, thank you. Just wait, sir.
We're gonna have to.
Can I get the translator, please? Just let her know.
Still. 115 even.
Official weight 115 pounds for Zhongwei Li. Your UFC strawweight championship rematch is official.
Back on the scale, Colby, please. She needs to stand back on the scale. Right. Thank you. Thank you. No.
All right, next fighter to the scale, competing live on pay-per-view tomorrow. The 13th ranked bantamweight in the world out of Ecuador, Marlon Chito Vera.
135 even.
135 pounds, the official weight for Chito Vera. All right, next fighter to the scale with much fanfare set to make his UFC debut live on Fight Pass tomorrow in the UFC's welterweight division. He is undefeated. He is the future, Ian Gary.
$169.6.
169.6, the official weight for Ian Gary.
got here last night. I don't know, but there was nobody from the place here. None of us really know that. When we passed, all I had on was video. I didn't have any producers or anything to look at it.
All right, next fighter to the scale in the UFC's flyweight division, Ode Osborne.
$125.2.
125.2, the official weight for Ode Osborne. All right, next fighter to the scale, former world title challenger, the 5th-ranked lightweight in the world, and competing live on pay-per-view tomorrow night, Iron Michael Chandler. Official weight 155.2 for Michael Chandler. All right, next fighter to the scale is the other man around whom this entire fight card was built, the former UFC interim welterweight champion and the #1 ranked welterweight contender, Colby Chaos Covington. $169.4, the official weight for Colby Covington, Your UFC 268 main event is official.
started like great. I walked on like in there, and then like the last like year, I walked up there. Kyle, there's trouble like got out there. That's like you know, the time comes to come out. Either company, have a whole Google Doc. I think it's like, it's not like what you yell at everything. It's got like, you know, the low price, the high price, the low quality. I've already done all that. I'll send you that doc.
It's there. I can't embarrass you. I'll embarrass my cross. I'll bury in the back of the plate. Then if they see the cross by they
Dropped the price like 10 grand and must be offered 5 alone.
Okay, folks, how we doing out there? We're just trying to catch up on all our social media stuff and getting the videos and all that posted, but smooth sailing so far. As far as I can tell, the entire main card is official. We just have Andres Michailidis, Dustin Jacoby, CJ Vergara, and Jean Volante waiting. And Jean Volante's retirement fight, as we found out just yesterday, I believe. Glad to see him getting a fight in New York. Probably the right time for him. It's been a rough stretch the past few fights, but this fight against Chris Barnett should be an interesting one on the early prelims there. Loaded Films, I will be doing an interview with Bisbing right after weigh-ins end here, so you can look forward to that. Hopefully some other good stuff coming today. Anthony Smith is supposed to talk to me later, and hopefully the great Chael Sonnen as well is in town, so definitely make sure to look out for the content. Yes, you are correct, Dylan R. Imalbov has not weighed in yet either. Oh, quiet, the DXJC56. John Morgan ain't hiding from no one anywhere. He's producing video and taking photos. He's a busy man this morning, so don't be a hater. And as I said off the top, everyone, of course, pointing towards Colby Covington's comments to him, go back and watch the media day. John Morgan did not say a damn thing to him about not being deserving of this title fight, anything in the sort. So don't know where Colby even got that. Don't know why he said it. Out of line, in my opinion, but we know Colby Covington is Colby Covington. He's going to do what he does. But, yeah, it was kind of very random because John said nothing of the sort that Colby was seemingly upset about. Glynn, no sign of Vicente Luque yet. Obviously, his services not needed. So we shall see if he still steps on the scale. Hey, True Vision T West, if you can find that clip, feel free to send it to me on Twitter because I have not seen it anywhere. John insists he didn't say anything, so. I will be right back. Just going to get a couple more social media posts done here, and then we can continue to chat it up.
I have no problem telling kids.
I love it. It's perfect.
What size are you? Yeah, I'm so like DC got me this large, I could shrink it and it's There he is, next fighter to the scale, MacArthur High School graduate John Vellante. $260.6, the official weight for John Vellante.
$260.6 for Jean Vellante. It's wild to think just a couple fights ago, this man was a light heavyweight. He is on the rampage trajectory, but hey, this is how you end the career. Why not? It's his last fight, retirement. Have some fun out there.
All right, next fighter to the scale, one half of the featured prelim on ESPN News in the UFC's middleweight division, Andreas Michailidis.
Even.
185 pounds, the official weight for Andreas Michailidis.
How many of you can hear Michael Bisping from all the way in the corner of the room on the BT weigh-in show? Look at this guy. No respect for the rest of us. Glenn, I see you asking this question a lot about the VVBV title fights. I do not know the answer to that. Do you know Aaron Bronstetter? So look up on the backdrop there. See how it says right above in the middle, how it says VVBV title fights? I'm guessing that's some sort of title fight sponsor or something. I don't know what. A typo from what, though?
It's probably they probably were using like a template. That would be my guess. I think
Perhaps.
they were using a template and they messed up.
That could be it. We don't have an answer for you, Glenn.
That's my unofficial answer.
Yeah, interim answer. There you go from Aaron Bronstetter. 2 Canadians cannot crack the case. So. John, you have any ideas? See up on the backdrop there how it says VVBV title fights right in the front and center there? Typo, in your opinion, or do we have any ideas what's going on here?
Yeah, I mean, it's a typo or like they didn't check the mock-up when they got it. I mean, I'm just guessing. It looks like they didn't catch that on mock-up before it got printed.
There you go. It's a unanimous decision between Aaron, myself, and John, believing it is a typo. So.
Somebody's really very embarrassed by this.
There you go. So we're in a good spot right now. The main card for this event is official after weigh-ins. We got a few stragglers left to come in. Dustin Jacoby, Nasruddin Imavov, a couple others. But the main fights here, the 2 title fights, Frankie Edgar, Marlon Vera, Michael Chandler, Justin Gaethje, everyone's official. No issues on the scale. Everyone looked pretty good up there. So I'm quite pleased, of course. With the digital scale, we're getting decimal point weights. Zhang Wali came in at 115.2 in the original one. She needed the, what are we calling it, John? The box of shame now. It used to be the hoop of shame. She needed that stripped down to get that 0.2 off, but she made it. She looked in good spirits. This is going to be an amazing fight card. I cannot wait for this. See a couple of you guys asking about James Gallagher versus Patchy Mix. That should be a good fight. Obviously, it's been a disastrous week for Patchy Mix over there on the Bellator side. Misses weight. Apparently, a few of his cornermen were unable to enter Dublin or Ireland due to vaccination status issues. So I don't know where Patchy Mix is going to be mentally, physically going into this fight this afternoon. But obviously a big one for those guys at bantamweight. Big fight for Gallagher as well to kind of see where he stands. We'll have coverage of that over on MMA Junkie. Of course, John Morgan and I are here in New York, so we will be doing our best efforts to give you coverage from on the ground here. I don't know how much of this Bellator card I'll actually catch, but we'll see what happens. Obviously, we got a ceremonial weigh-in later. Going to try to get some interviews done, as I mentioned earlier. I believe I'm going to speak with Michael Bisping once we wrap up here, Anthony Smith a little later on, and hopefully the great Chael Sonnen. Peter Allen asking if I saw the footage of McGregor back sparring and what did I think. I mean, I don't read too much into it. They're going to show you what they want to show you in that sense. So until I can see Conor, kicking in live action and all these kind of things, I don't really know where he is physically at the moment. But he does seem obviously driven to make a comeback. But we'll see. I mean, on the surface, Conor always looks like he's wanting to fight and all that. But there's a lot of other issues that go on with him. Michael Ralston asking, did Ian Gary make weight? Yes, he did. He looked good up there. That's a highly anticipated debut. I think there's 5 fighters making their UFC debut on this card, 4 or 5. Loaded Films, no face-offs after this. No, we're at a pay-per-view event, so they have a ceremonial weigh-in, 5 p.m. Eastern over at the Madison Square Garden, and we will get the final face-offs there. I'm curious to see what happens. Of course, we had the push with Kamaru Usman yesterday in his face-off with Colby Covington. I'm kind of wishing that he saved that if he was plotting it for today, because now I feel like we're going to have kind of a lame duck face-off between Usman and Covington. They're going to want to try to keep them apart, and I think we're not going to get as good of that final last moment of heat between those two going in. So I imagine Dana White's going to take no risks trying to keep them apart and all that. So I wish if we got kind of the physical face-off, if we were going to get that little push, probably would have been better for it to happen today, because it kind of takes the steam off this final face-off, in my opinion. Jermaine King, yeah, I saw Michael Chandler walk past Colby yesterday. He comments and he didn't pay any attention. Yeah, you could see it was funny. I was at the press conference and I was on that side with Colby, Zhang Weili, and Michael Chandler, and Michael Chandler did not have the most impressive
All right, we will
face as
resume
Colby
things
Covington was
now
talking.
in the UFC's
We're back.
middleweight division, a prelim you can see live on ESPN News as we welcome Nasruddin Imavov.
$184.6.
184.6, the official weight for Nasruddin Imavov.
Vicente Luque has not been seen yet. I'm not sure what the status of that is. Of course, he was going to be the main event backup alternate fighter, but Usman and Covington have both made weight. Suspect he'll still come out here because I assume he came to some sort of financial agreement with the UFC to be this backup fighter for whatever little amount he's going to get.
Still want to official in case somebody like tests positive for COVID or something like that.
Exactly. John Morgan putting a potential hex on this. Yes, I think it makes sense, obviously. Crazy stuff can happen at the last minute. Vicente Luque, I expect him to weigh in, but we haven't seen him yet. So stand by on that one. Let me just get this final weigh-in video live on our YouTube, and then I will circle back and we can chat it up a little bit more. What's up, Jonathan Rivera? I'm good. It's an early morning here out on the East Coast, but we getting it done. No, there's gotta be cards. I'm sure like a Europe card, yeah, something like that. Aaron Bronstetter asking me if this is a card with one of the fewest Brazilians scheduled on the lineup. Maybe for a pay-per-view in North America, Canada. Hard to say. We know it definitely has among the fewest Canadians. We know that much. There's approximately 0 Canadians. Very true. You know what? But even if there's no Canadians on the card, Aaron Bronstetter and I still show up to give this coverage, so we are not biased for only our people. Luke McLaughlin, if I'm pronouncing that right. Bobby Green, a potential lock. Ooh, I don't know. I mean, the way Bobby Green fights, how close his fights go to decision. I think he's been to like 10 straight decisions or something like that. It's been a long time since win or lose, there's been a stoppage in one of his fights. And we're here in New York, obviously Ally Quinto's backyard. I don't know. Bobby Green is not someone I would be putting big time money on. Here comes Oscar Willis, looking to clout chase on the MMA Junkie stream over here. Anything to say, Oscar? Any takeaways from this incredible weigh-in session besides Jean Volante being 260 pounds?
Jean Volante's a big lad, isn't he? He's certainly put on some timber, as we say in the UK.
He's in retirement life, basically.
Yes. 15
minutes away at the most. So we shall
Other than
see.
that, I have no takeaways other than everyone keeps asking for digital scales, which are good, but then you get that thing with like Zhang Weili where it's like, oh, okay, she's on weight, let's just get on with it.
That's what I said earlier. You know, that wouldn't have been a thing. They would have just, if we were in Nevada, wherever, they would
Anywhere other than New York.
Pretty much. And it makes it a lot more difficult to tweet out the results and I'm having to listen to an extra decimal point and all this. It's very, very annoying.
I also get really annoyed when I watch these weigh-ins where it's like, because we're in New York and New York are just sticklers for absolutely everything. Yeah, why? What do you need? Ooh, I'll take it. Sorry, someone's just showing me a beautiful picture of myself. So, Oscar Tron.
There's only one out there, so it's a big, big thing.
I hate it as well where they're such sticklers. They're like, oh, you have to take your necklace off and you have to take your socks off. It's like, shut the fuck up.
No, I remember when we were out here when Fedor fought Chael Sonnen, I believe, and Fedor was trying to weigh in the sweatpants and the shirt, and they made him get down completely to his skinnies. He did not seem too pleased about that. But
it's just like silly. Ooh, I'm so dazzlingly handsome. Gotta love turtleneck season, bro.
I kept turning around to catch a couple of these.
Am I vain enough to post that? I think I am.
Let's see it.
Go for it.
Cute.
It's not bad. It's a workshop. Mike says I look cute. Mike said you look cute. Well, then you win. I need a nap.
Is the Pereira hype real? I mean, I think it's too soon to tell. I think we find out here. You know, Andreas Michailidis would be utterly foolish if he doesn't try to take this man down early and often, but if Pereira can stop a couple takedowns and get that striking rhythm going, he's going to give people some serious problems in there. But it's, you know, such minimal MMA experience. It's just really, we don't know yet. This fight will answer a lot of questions for us. Any of you out there in the chat actually going to this event? Yeah, Glenn, I know what you're saying about the digital scale or the digital scale versus the beam scale. I think the beam scale is perfectly fine. You mentioned the Hamzat Chimaev thing, but that was a product of him leaning on the towel and he was taking the weight off. So it's less so about the scale than the people you have running it and that are around in the room. You can't let that, people lean on the damn towel. We've seen it. That weight fluctuation was ridiculous. And, you can avoid that if you just know what you're looking for in those moments. I trust the beam scale a little bit more than digital, but it seems like we haven't had any issues with this one so far today. So that's good news there. Hey, David Jones. Colby Covington is just being Colby Covington. He knows no bounds. John Morgan took it like a damn champ, though. Do not worry about him for a single bit. Love the guy. He did not sweat it a touch. You can go watch the reaction video if you want that John and I filmed yesterday immediately after the press conference. We talked about our thoughts on it a little bit. As you can see, he's just heartbroken in there. Look at the thumbnail. Couldn't even hold back his tears. Looking around the room here, we got some interesting characters. Bisbing back there doing his BT Sports show. We got Aljamain Sterling, the great Chris Weidman over there hanging out. Ali Quinta. Moody Mood, I will try to see if John Anik will come over here. Archibald, can I tell you who has already made weight? It'd be easier for me to tell you who has not made weight at this point, but why don't you go support the cause and go to MMAJunkie.com and look at the weigh-in post where we have all the updated results to this very moment. Easy, easy. And as I said earlier, I should be talking to Michael Bisbing for a bit of an event preview after this. Anything you guys want me to ask Michael Bisbing about in particular? Obviously a wealth of knowledge, this man. I'm sure he's been asked a million times about the breakdowns and thoughts on these top few fights. So if you have anything unique, I'll try to fit some of your guys' questions in there. Maybe do a little bit of my job for me. Why not?
All right, next fighter to the scale, competing in the UFC's light heavyweight division, the Hanyak, Dustin Jacoby. .203.6, the official weight for Dustin Jacoby.
Look at Dustin Jacoby. Takes this fight on like 4 days' notice and is underweight. All right, folks, we got a special guest here joining us for just a minute or two. It is the one, the only, the UFC bantamweight champion of the world, Mr. Aljamain Sterling. How are we doing, Aljo?
Is this live?
It is live. It's just audio on our stream here.
Hey, what's up, gang? The Funk Master is in the house.
How's Al doing this week?
He's doing great. He says his body's feeling good, and an Al that feels good is a dangerous Al. So I'm excited for this fight for him. And this was a matchup a long time in the making. They were supposed to fight a couple years back, and now they're going to cross paths. So this is going to be a good one. I know the fans are going to be in for a treat for this one. Bobby brings it, Al brings it, and we're doing it at the MSG Garden.
Yes, sir. Do you hope to fight here one day?
I do, but you know what? If they don't want to change the rules here with the medical commission part, it is what it is. I'll take my talents to some other states, you know?
There you go. How are we feeling physically and everything? We good?
I feel great. I'm hoping to come back early next year. We'll see what they have open in terms of the cards. I really am appreciative of the UFC giving me the opportunity to make sure I got my body right this time, because I know they kind of jumped on it prematurely early to make that fight in October, and we saw what happened. It just wasn't the time, you know. So now that I got more time to really focus on my rehab, I'm excited to get back out there. And that fight answered a lot of questions for me, so I can't wait to just shut everybody up and we get to see who's who.
Awesome, man. Appreciate the couple minutes. Get back there with Weidman. How's he doing? He's over there.
He's over there. Weidman's over there. He's like a new leg. Who this?
Yeah. See him walking around? Yeah. Chris Weidman. He looks great. I'm very happy for him. Hopefully we can get him back soon.
Hey, guys. I just want to make sure you guys say, if you want to keep talking shit, just make sure you put that money on Jan so you can go bankrupt. Because I'm betting the house on me all day long, baby. Let's go!
Yes, sir. Thank you for the time, Aljo. You're the man. Appreciate it.
Aljo, tell Charlie I said what's up. Yeah, man. I was talking to him yesterday.
There you go, guys. A little guest action there. I know you like to hate. He was looking at every single one of your comments, so I hope you feel good about yourself with all your little clown emojis and all that. Say what you will about Aljamain Sterling. He is a very nice guy and a great fighter. I know how people aren't happy with how that fight played out, but look at his body of work leading up to that Peter Yan fight and what he was doing out there. So Aljo's one of the best bantamweights in the world, obviously. right or wrong, he has that belt. So take your hate elsewhere off this stream. No Aljamain slander allowed here. Apologies, guys. I moved away to go take a photo of Chris Weidman, who was on his feet. He did a little, fake sidekick and stuff. He seems to be in great spirits. Could not be happier for that man. I was cage side back in April when his leg break happened, and that is something that will stick with me for some time. So it's just awesome to see him in good spirits again. Jonathan Rivera, I will be cage side for this fight. The great John Morgan will be handling video in the back, and I will be doing play-by-play, recaps, whatever we ultimately decide for our coverage plans, but it will be the same amazing MMA Junkie coverage you've come to know and expect for so many years. Archibald, do I think Conor and Weidman will come back like they used to? I mean, it's tough to say. Chris Weidman's obviously getting a little long in the tooth in terms of his time in the sport, so that's a hard injury to come back, and his was obviously, I mean, at least from a visual side, much more devastating, the way the leg broke. I assume they'll obviously both fight again. I'm sure they'll have some moments, but if we're being realistic here, Chris Weidman was obviously a bit on the decline as it was. So I don't know what his ceiling was from where he was fighting Uriah Hall. If he would have won that fight, should that never happen, it's hard to say. Conor McGregor's obviously, I think, at a little higher level in the sport right now. When he comes back, I assume he'll get one of the top guys out there. So maybe that makes it more difficult for him, because there's going to be no gimmies when it comes to Conor McGregor, and people are going to be seeking out that leg and going for the head. So. Nathan Bates, you're saying Conor has millions and millions. Millions can buy you anything. Can it though? Can't buy you wins in that octagon. That money doesn't do anything for you once you're in there and that cage door closes. So that is the reality of the situation. No, Jonathan Rivera. I do not want to see Canelo Alvarez versus Kamaru Usman. Pass on that one. Not interested. Obviously, Kamaru Usman wants that boxing payday, which, I mean, what does that say to you about the state of the sport? I want to see Kamaru Usman doing what he does best, and that is fight mixed martial arts, because this man is a insane talent. I tried to approach John Anik, Mr. Moody Moot, but he's having a conversation with Mr. Ian Gary and the great Layla Ann, his partner in crime, who's a great media talent as well. John Anik getting position. Looks like we are going to be back here rolling. Only a couple folks left. Here we go. I believe, CJ Vergara.
All right, next athlete to the scale in the UFC's featherweight division, Bruno Souza. .148.4, the official weight for Bruno Souza.
And there it is, our first weight miss of the day. Mr. Bruno Silva comes in at 2.4 pounds heavy. Not ideal. Not ideal at all. say a quick word to the live stream. They kept saying for me to wrangle you over here. It's the MMA Junkie.
We got
YouTube
the
stream.
MMA Junkie live stream. It is great to be with you fine people. I remember when I started covering mixed martial arts in 2007, and I asked my boss at ESPN, hey man, like what website should I go to? He said MMAJunkie.com. Here we are 15 years later, folks. How we doing, Mikey? Good?
We're good, yeah. Obviously, we got the top names all making weight. That's an unfortunate way to make your debut with that miss with Souza there, but
Yeah.
it happens, you know?
Yep. And obviously he didn't have a lot of time, so we will give him every benefit
Yeah,
of
are you
every
aware of
doubt.
the rules here? Just to get an extra hour?
So if you're within a pound, but he's not within a pound of 46, so he is done cutting weight as far as I know.
Right.
If that is in error, I will double check with Mark Ratner, but I believe that's the case.
Yeah, they have some funky rules here. I remember the famous Donald Cerrone Kelvin Gastelum fight that was canceled, I believe.
Right.
When Gastelum came in, however many pounds over, and so with the disparity, they wouldn't approve the fight. And
Right.
Cerrone's like, if you just hit me up, man, I would have gone and had breakfast and got within the 5 pounds, and we can make this fight happen. So.
And of course, many of you will remember when Tyron Woodley fought Kelvin Gastelum in Vegas, and Gastelum weighed like 83 or something, was closer to middleweight, and people kind of positioned Woodley as the bad guy, but they ended up fighting.
Yeah.
But this Luque thing is interesting, right? Because it's weird to sort of congratulate a guy for being the backup, but it tells you promotionally what they think of him, that he's getting this shot.
Is he still coming?
Yes, so Vicente Luque,
Okay.
as far as I know, will still weigh in as the alternate. And I guess in that situation, it means that both Covington and Usman, verbally or otherwise, have agreed to face not just the guy they're fighting, but Luque on this night.
Yes, I'm not 100% sure how that's worked. We haven't actually ran into the situation where one of these backup fighters is being needed on like 1-2 days notice, right? So like I'm curious to see, especially in a fight of this magnitude, especially if it was, Kamaru Usman, what would happen? Would they do an interim title if he fell out? Like who knows? There's so many layers. Hopefully we don't ever have to run into this because we want the fights that are made and promoted. But what a hero Luque is for being here.
Oh, awesome.
I mean, professional. It's great to see.
And Glover Teixeira, because of the way he fights and his style, even though you can say, man, Jan Blachowicz and Yuri Prochazka are two totally different beasts, but because of the way Glover fights, I don't think he much cares if Yuri steps in. He's focused on himself. But that isn't the case with a lot of athletes, right? Like a stylist and a specialist like Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. I know he's coming off a loss, but do you think both of these guys would have approved that dude as a backup? Like that's it, because for Colby, just as an example, right? Like that's a very specific prepare.
Yeah.
And so I think Luque, even though I think he's one of the best fighters in the world, I think maybe he's a guy
a little more meat and
stylistically,
potatoes type of skill
That's a
set,
good way
but he makes some of the best potatoes around.
Yeah,
he
he some
is
damn good potatoes. Well done out of Vicente Luque.
Yeah, what's the excitement level for the first time in 4 months? Do you call in fights with Rogan and DC again? You haven't had that team together in a minute.
It's great to have Joe back. There's no doubt that, as I've said to you before, there's a special dynamic in that booth when he's there. Makes my Friday a little bit easier without the 2 weigh-ins because he'll be on stage later today. And people read into his absence to such an extent that it's sort of interesting for us to see some of the headlines, right? Because he missed those domestic pay-per-views in large part because of COVID-19 and schedules just sort of being adjusted more than they would be in a more normal climate. So he's got a sold-out arena for a comedy show and a hunting trip, and then a pay-per-view date gets switched, and so he can't make it, and people say, oh, he's got 1 foot out the door. It's like, I'll take your action if you want to bet, as to who lasts longer, him or me. He ain't going anywhere, and I hope he doesn't mind me saying that.
No, I agree, and there's reasons behind all the things, and if you've been paying enough attention, he hasn't done domestic pay-per-views in years. Or like non-domestic pay-per-views in years. This is kind of normal stuff, and obviously, like we said, it's been some scheduling changes and all that, but he is back. I expect he'll be there for 269 and 270 and yada yada yada. So take your Joe Rogan slander elsewhere, people.
You're right about that. But I'm excited. I mean, as excited as a Boston guy can be in New York City, I guess. But huge show. I mean, the fact that Chandler Gaethje is now kicking off the pay-per-view is just bananas. And one of my first questions to Kamaru and Justin and Rose was going to be, how are we navigating this situation? Because even though Rose and Kamaru have competed back-to-back in the past, in this situation, the way it was laid out, you were looking at Whitman being unavailable to Kamaru for like 90 minutes before his fight, which would be less than ideal. So I'm glad they pivoted, and what a way to kick off, arguably the biggest, baddest card of the year.
Yeah, speaking of Boston, how do you feel about the Celtics at the moment in this players-only meeting we just had? Is this trending in a bad direction or good in your mind?
Well, if you had asked me 24 hours ago, I probably would have had a different answer, but the Miami Heat, and I know living in South Florida, listen to local sports talk radio, they think that's a championship team, and the Celtics went into the AAA last night and put it on Jimmy Butler and those Miami Heat. They won the second quarter 33-9. They kept Miami under 80 points. So I didn't love every word out of Marcus Smart's mouth in terms of coming at the superstar players on the team, but I think he knew as the captain that he needed to speak up, and he did. And one of the tougher games on their schedule, they just won in a blowout. So I'm encouraged today, Mikey.
Yeah, I feel a little better about my Raptors as well, and quite excited to be back covering NBA games for the first time in 2 years. And I'm taking the 6:30 a.m. flight out on Sunday morning so I can be back for the 2:30 tip-off between the Raptors and the Brooklyn Nets, who are in town, Toronto on Sunday.
You have my respect.
There you go.
Because I don't know what type of condition you'll be in, but find a way. You got to be on camera too. I don't know.
There's energy drinks. There's things we can make happen. I'm not a coffee guy, but hey, there it is. All right. Well, I will let you go. I assume someone's going to be coming out here in the next 5 minutes, hopefully. Vicente Luque, and who else we got? CJ Vergara.
CJ and Vicente, the last two. Always good to chop it up with you, my brother.
Thank you.
All
You're the man. Thank you, John. Appreciate you. There you go, people. The great John Anik in here for a little chat. Hopefully this gives you some entertainment as you stare at the motionless backdrop here at weigh-ins. Random person face-offs are not until this evening. This is not a fight night event. We are doing the big ceremonial weigh-in on the big stage. All the lights, the theatrics and all that, ring girls, matchmakers. It's going to be a whole scene, and that is 5 p.m. Eastern. I will be there with Mr. Juan Morgan, and we will have video, photos, all that good stuff for you people. And then it is all steam ahead to fight night. Can't wait for this one.
All right, next fighter to the scale, competing in the UFC's flyweight division and making his debut here tomorrow night, CJ Vergara. $127.4 for CJ Vergara.
And there you go, another weight miss to close the card. CJ Vergara comes in 1.4 pounds heavy for flyweight. Not ideal. I see Vicente Luque.
All right, and now weighing in
creeping.
as an alternate for our UFC Welterweight Championship main event, fourth-ranked contender Vicente Luque. $172.2 for Vicente Luque. I don't know if CJ is going to be given an hour because he was 1.2.
Right.
Yeah, that is it, guys. Appreciate you watching. Obviously, Vicente Luque misses the championship weight as the alternate there. I assume once Colby and Usman hit the mark, maybe he kind of bailed on it, but this was extremely short notice. Thankfully, his services won't be needed from all indications. But Vicente Luque is still the man. Hope you guys have a great day, and we'll be back later. Appreciate the views, and have a good day. We'll see you at Ceremonial Wins.